give it a second. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Perfect. Ooh. So it looks like too, so this is good to know too. So everybody that's on the live stream will appear in the Facebook group too. I don't know. Oh, and we're live right now. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I will go ahead and hit record. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Onya Weekly Marketing Pulse, where you will get bite-sized nuggets on exactly what to do to move the needle in your business with online marketing. And if you stick around with us every week, we will do a live Q&A at the end to answer your questions in real time so that you have the most effective strategies to move forward in your marketing and get the ROI that you know you need in your company. And if we haven't met, my name is Ashley Monk. I'm the CEO and lead strategist at Onya. And today we are talking about a topic that is very important to cover in 2021 or 2022, y'all. It is the new year. And that's brand authenticity. Because at the end of the day, being able to build an effective brand that is really communicating one-to-one with their clients and really understanding what drives customers to do what they do, it starts with authenticity. And while so often people will say, well, just fake it until you make it kind of a thing, it doesn't necessarily apply because so often we see this. And I think we saw this in 2020 and 2021 as well. These cookie cutter templates, scopes of work, cookie cutter ways that we would all respond in direct messages, canned templates, and wondering if it's even a real person or a robot because we've started to get even smarter as consumers. And yet as brands and as business owners and marketing directors and leaders in business, I think we forget this. We try to send canned emails for the sake of speeding up time. And listen, there's a time and a place for all of those things. Automation is incredibly effective. And what I'm talking about is having authenticity from a brand standpoint. And so what is brand authenticity? This is a tough question to answer. And really, it's hard to think of marketing in general as an authentic process because at the heart of it all, most companies do. They exist to make a sale, right? Unless you're a non-for-profit, we are in business to turn a profit, to generate more clients, customers, so that we can hit goals. Cash is king in any business and in life. And so, of course, it can be challenging when sales are your goal to really keep that in mind. But at the heart of it all, even though we know this to be true, consumers are not willing to settle for that anymore. As we become more savvy and socially conscious, we have to reconsider what we say, how we say it, who we say it to, and what we believe. Because with the pandemic and with changes that continue to happen 2 years later in the online space, with more people flocking online every single day, being authentic and having that congruency and that integration with your personal life and your work is very important to the modern day consumer. And so a lot of people think that since consumers make decisions based on value, it doesn't necessarily require to have a social purpose and steer away from social issues. But as we have seen the last 2 years, that's not the case. Companies that are staying silent on social issues and not standing for anything or really communicating what it is that they believe in their brands are being called out because consumers expect the companies they purchase from not only to have excellent products and service, but to take action and to make the world a better place. Because the more virtual our worlds become, the more we crave something genuine, the more we crave something tangible, the more we crave something that is real. And that is 110% true for your marketing. Because what people want today isn't just a great service or a great product. It is an experience that satisfies their soul. They want experiences that are transparent, engaging, authentic. And then if your company can't deliver, you're at a huge loss. So what do? Well, your brand has to live its social purpose. And while authenticity is your opportunity to show up, transparency and having that transparently stated for all of your customers to understand, it is about implementation. Because you may live out your inspiration or your purpose from a skincare line perspective by telling customers you're committed to an animal-friendly process, right? But if your practices are actively showing that you use them to test your products and they're not showing that over and over that you practice what you teach, then there is risk for a lack of transparency in your overall marketing. And so companies that combine transparency and honesty, like Dove and Patagonia, are the ones that benefit from excited customers that are willing to do their marketing for them, while brands like Uber and Pepsi have kept them maybe under wraps. They've struggled to gain a market share. So now that we know the why, and now that we know it's really important and what that looks like to have authenticity from a brand perspective, what does that look like? Well, there are three very simple ways as a marketing director, as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur to incorporate this into your practicing. And it's very simple. Number one, be authentic in your messaging. This is the easiest lever that you can pull by simplifying and having a very clear and authentic, compelling message that is based on your conviction. That's not just copied and pasted from someone else's template. That is based on the core values and the core pillars of your company, communicated in a way that sets you apart. Let me give you an example. One for me that we practice as an agency is in my space. So often I see people that are selling packages, and this word drives me crazy. It drives me crazy because what a package includes and what a package insinuates is that it's one size fits all, that everybody fits into this cookie cutter scope and everyone is the same and we just punch and repeat. And that's not what we do within our organization. That's not how we provide value to our clients. That's not how we deliver that ROI. We treat our clients, while we have set systems, processes, and frameworks to speed up the process to get them the result faster, we treat them as individuals. Their needs are different. That what they need to get to the result is going to vary based on their personality, their industry, their team, their revenue, and their resources. And so that's one example of being authentic in our messaging and saying that I hate packages. We practice scope and retainers here. We really, while we have similar retainers that can fit different areas and practices, we adjust the scope based on that individual client. So be authentic, stick to those convictions. That's one for me that, again, not everyone says, but it drives me crazy. And so I communicate about it. The next one is being transparent in your content. This one's scary for people, okay? Because transparency in your content means giving customers a backstage, a pass to really show how you live out those values through videos and pictures of what that looks like, through behind the scenes at your company, through maybe an Instagram story, through updates about what you're doing and different disclosures and things like that. And listen, when I say transparency in your content, if you're a smaller company or you're a personal brand where a lot of it shells around you, I'm not meaning air out all of your dirty laundry on social media in the moment. Now, there are times and places where, stories about maybe a few years back, mistakes that you've made in your business, marketing areas that you've grown in as a company over time, those can be very effective stories to share. So there is this line of course, even though the world is integrated, you really want to have those personal boundaries. But again, sharing those compelling stories of what happened. I know for me, I talk a lot about how my experience was cultivated by working in property management and trying to better sell. And that's what made me an effective marketer. And that's what our organization kind of grew around. And so showing those behind the scene glimpses humanizes what you're doing, but also transparently shows and values your unique selling proposition to prospective clients. And then finally, the most important pinnacle that can really set you apart is creating online communities, allowing your listeners and followers to join in on that conversation. You don't want to keep them at arm's length. And I know that in the past, we've embraced work-life balance and kind of setting those boundaries. And while boundaries are important, though, you want to let people in that are going to be the most loyal to you and have that conversation. You want their feedback. You want them to have a voice, because not only will this allow for you to have the feedback that you need to improve your product or service and make it better, it is also going to allow you to have even more retention among your customers because they will commune with one another. You've seen it all the time when people unite behind they're not just uniting behind that brand, they are uniting behind the movement that it stands for. Think of Tom's when they donate a pair of shoes for every pair you buy. For a long time, when they were getting their start, that was really a social cause for people, and people wanted to buy that. And people that wore Tom's all saw them as a part of a greater cause, that were donating and really contributing to people that were in need. And so when you create a community, and it doesn't just have to be around a product, it could be grouping people or having events for people that purchase your services from you to allow them to have that relationship to become even more loyal to your brand. And so the more you demonstrate brand authenticity, the less unachievable standards you'll have to hold yourself to along the way, because authentic brands earn the loyalty of customers, even if they make a few mistakes along the way, because they're easy to resonate and understand. And you don't have to pretend to be perfect to thrive in business. You just have to be honest. And so that, everyone, is the critical importance of brand authenticity. Normally we'll do a live Q&A, and I don't see any questions that have come through today, but I just want to thank everybody for showing up today. We will be here every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern to cover the latest, the greatest, and the most essential topics in your marketing. So until next week, we will see you there.